What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com at Youcapper Sports on Twitter. Got my guy Austin Wang, A Wang underscore HTX with me here today. You seen his work over at Action Network, NBA.com, and all that stuff, man. Always good to have you on. I know we haven't done what was it? What did we call it before? Like Nerd Friday or like Analytics Fridays? I forgot what it was. But yeah, it's been a while since we did one of those, so glad to have you on today.
Yeah, absolutely.
How has it, man? I'll be transparent, man. Like I had a good start to the NBA playoffs, and then the last 3 days prior to yesterday, last 3 days, man, I couldn't throw like a rock in the ocean, bro. Like I lost 3 days in a row, but then yesterday got back on the winning side. So hopefully we continue going in that direction here. But how's your NBA players been?
Pretty good, pretty good. So yeah, March was not a good month, but April has done a complete 180. Been hot lately. Baseball has gotten off to a great start as I've been sharing a lot of my system plays. I was mentioning last year was so poor in baseball, I had to change it up a little bit. So I've aggregated about 10 to 15 of my favorite, most profitable systems, and just been working with those this year. Gotten off to a 40-14 start this season.
Damn.
So I'm
Is
ecstatic,
that all?
man.
Is that all money line, or is that all sides, or do you do
No,
total too?
no. Probably more totals than anything. So one of my favorite systems to back is a contrarian overs system. It's when two starters with lower than average ERA early on in the season, and the total is high. So the total I use is 8 or above. So that filters out a lot of the aces and the top pitchers. So usually, so those go over around 60% of the time for the last several years.
Did
And
you
so,
for that total system? Did you have to adjust anything with all the rule changes, or did you kind of like, or yeah, did you adjust anything over the season?
no, I didn't adjust anything. I did keep a look at some of the totals this year because they are kind of veering a little higher because of the
Yeah,
rule changes and all that. But no, this has been consistent year over year, and I think the logic behind it is that these pitchers early on in the season, a lot of their ERAs are artificially high, right? And
yeah, uh-huh.
because of one or two good performances, they haven't had enough starts or enough innings pitched to kind of mellow, to normalize it. So a lot of these pitchers early on in the season, their ERAs are really low, artificially good. But I think the total tells a story. If it's 8 or higher, they tend to go over. So
Yeah, yeah.
I've been
And that's where
backing.
the advanced analytics too for the starting pitchers that comes into play as well.
Right,
Like the FIP and XFIP and all that stuff. It kind of
right, right.
shows where they really are.
Yeah.
Especially with just 2 or 3 starts under the belt.
Right. I call it contrarian because if you look at just the counting stats, if you go look at ERA and all that, and they're like, oh man, these are two top pitchers going against each other. It has to be an under, right? But if the
Yeah,
total's
yeah,
high, it goes over most of the time, and it's been hitting at an astronomical rate this season. At towards it, it's active a lot at the beginning of the season because, like I said, there's a lot of these pitchers that have these inflated better than you would expect ERAs, but as the season
yeah,
goes on and their ERAs normalize, you don't see it active as much anymore. So lots of
yeah, yeah.
lots of active scenarios early on in the season that I've been capitalizing on.
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's go on to we'll do a one baseball game later that we're aligned in, and we'll talk about that. And then, but we'll talk about both NBA games, the NBA playoffs here. We got the Kings and the Warriors, and we got the Grizzlies and the Lakers. I'll share my screen here. We'll do the Kings and Warriors first. Do you have any angles on this game that you found, or are you taking anything on this game specifically?
Not quite the Kings and Warriors. No, I think just from a numbers perspective, I like the King and just the championship pedigree, and just I think with them switching up their lineup, bringing Draymond off the bench, they've just unlocked something completely new and dangerous. And I just
Mhm.
think their experience is going to trump the Kings' talent. So I don't know. My numbers like the Kings. I personally like the Kings, but I don't think I can get there against the Warriors.
Yeah, so this is a few of the things I looked at. I haven't bet anything on this game here, but I'm strongly leaning towards the Warriors. But
Mm-hmm.
if you look at 20, I think it's 2020. if we look at the Kings and Warriors matchup specifically on the road, or so in San Fran or towards the Warriors side here. Shit, got put the equal. So 0-8 straight up. The last 8 instances over in Golden State for the Kings. So they haven't won a game on the road here in this matchup specifically, but they have been covering. So that was the part that I was kind of like a little questionable, right? Because they're, even though they're losing the game, they're still able to cover those little small spreads here. Not small, I guess. 7.5 is pretty big, but they are able to cover those. So that's the reason why I kind of stayed away for the most part of the side, even though I strongly lean in that direction. But here are some things that I think a lot of people already know this, but the Kings in road dog situations this year, they're sorry, not King. Oh shit, that was the Grizzlies. Sorry, the Kings one is road dog, and I think after All-Star break. Let me just double check here. Rested road dog. Okay. And greater than 0. This is the other piece here. If you look at their offense in this road dog situation where they are rested, 13-3 to the under, 6-10 straight up. If you look at their Delta points scored, they only went over their team total in 3 of those games. And then if you go to the Warrior side, we go AASB and just at home. Warriors at home, 13-1 straight up, 11-3 against the spread, 9-5 to the under. So I was leaning towards the under full game, but if you look at again to the DPA, the Delta points allowed, they only allowed their opponent to go over their team total in 3 games, and this one even included an OT game. So the way that I was looking at this one is really, if you add to the fact, these numbers here, team total under on the King side, you add to the fact that Fox is injured, right, working through, the fractured finger. I would think that three scenarios would be Warriors cover the spread, right? The Kings go, the why do I have the Grizzlies here? Kings under their team total, and then also the Warriors and Kings full game under as well. Those were kind of like the scenarios that I was looking at. I haven't placed a bet on it yet. My fault for going backwards. I went to the other game first, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's hard to bet an under on these two teams, I think, but in this situation, you've got the stats to back it up, and I think in a game 6, obviously the unders are more prevalent later on in the series as these teams are so familiar with one another. Their fatigue is set in, and with an elimination game at stake here, you would expect the defense to toughen up. But, again, it's the Kings and the Warriors here. Hard to bet an under, but I can't argue with your stats or just the general game 6 later in the series trends.
Yeah. So talking about that too, that game 6 series. So if I looked at that specifically, just a scenario, right? 3-2 series in favor for the home favorite. So if we go playoff equals 1, and then we go series wins equals 3. Series wins equals 2. I think it's home favorite, and then round 1. So if you look at that, it points towards the home favorite winning, the road team covering, 13-2 to the under. But if you look at that, that's the reason why I kind of stayed away from the spread for the most part here, is just the fact that was this a streak of 7 of the road dogs are covering in that situation. So I stayed away from the spread, but I still like the under. If you look at like the cluster of unders there in this query, it just seems like it's one of those games where defense shows up, right? The home favorite needs to clamp down defensively and get it done. They don't want to go a game 7, right? So that would be the way that I look at it.
I think so too. Out of all the plays that you had mentioned, I would say the under is the one I would support the most there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would be the way. Were you saying like the full game under, or just a team total under from the King side? It's just tough because I think that I like the team total under a little bit more just because of we know how the Warriors play at home, and then
Mhm,
also the Fox injury. I think it affects him. And like he shot what 9 for 25 in the last game, so
mhm, mhm.
I just feel like their offense is going to struggle here again.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Do you see anything from a prop perspective? I know. Looney's been kind of crazy the last 3 games.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, with their new
Yeah, I
lineup,
have it up right
Looney's been
here.
going off. And I
Looney's
think
been
that's the
going
one that
off.
you had brought up, the rebounds and assists. I think
Rebounds
you
and
were on
assists.
that
Yeah,
from the get go. Once after Draymond got suspended for that game, and
yeah.
ever
If
since
you if
then,
you
ever
look
since
at
he
it
went from the
too,
bench.
if you look at it too, I don't know why they would go away with whatever their game plan is because they obviously lost the first 2 games and look at
Mhm.
the distribution, his assists, like how he impacts that offense. 1 and 2 assists here, limited rebounds. Obviously, that also has to do with Sacramento making their shots, but now you have the rebounds here, and you see that he's able to work within the offense and distribute as well. So I kind of want to look towards him again. I think if I think that the Warriors are going to win, it would probably I wouldn't say run through him obviously, but he's probably going to have a similar impact from the previous 3 games if I think the Warriors are going to win.
Yeah, let's check the lines, man. I want to run that one back for sure.
Look at his rebound. I remember this one. This one we smashed that one because it was like
Hmm,
15
hmm.
rebounds and assists or something like that, and he had 29 that game. And I remember laddering it up to 19 or 20.
Oh yeah,
Um,
love that.
yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Let's see here. But I don't know, like that's kind
It's
of
like
like the guy that I
18
want
and
really
a
wanted
half
to focus on.
minus 102 at prop builder. That's where the
Eight-
line is. The
18 and a
rebounds
half.
plus, no, not rebounds, but rebounds plus assists.
You
So
said 18 and a half?
18 and a half.
I like it, dude.
Yeah, I do too. Just the rebounds, it's 13 and a half at a juice 13 and a half. My goodness. But I think
The
the
juice
assists is
13.
what,
I would
yeah, he's
if it's
getting
juice,
dimes, man.
when you say juice 13 and a half, what is that? Like a 120,
Minus
130?
117. Yeah.
Oh,
This is
170.
just on
That's
the
not
prop
bad at
builder
all.
app.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not bad at all. 13 and a half too. Let's see. 13 and a
Yeah,
half
yeah.
for the
Looking
rebounds.
at the rate he's been rebounding, it's been a
What was
beast
his
out there.
rebounds assists? 18 and a half?
18 and a half.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit that one for sure.
I'll probably split a unit on each one of those, and then I think that's what I'm gonna do. Are you doing the rebounds and assists?
I am just the
Okay.
rate that he's getting those assists and those dimes, man. I think that's a
Yeah.
good way to diversify it.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. I'm gonna add that one too. All right, let's move on to the next game here. I freaking had this banner up while we were talking about it, but the Grizzlies and the Lakers. The one way that I was looking at this one, Austin, was the Grizzlies team total under. I already took it. I actually gave this out as my best bet on triple double.
Mhm.
But are you aligned with that, or do you have any other look in this game here specifically? The
I'm
Warriors. Oh,
aligned
sorry,
with
the
that. I
Grizzlies.
mean, well, I
Lakers.
like the full game under. I think just the last
Gotcha.
4 games have just, we've seen a defensive minded approach. The only game that went over in the last 4 games, I mean, game one went over, but the only one that went over was because of overtime. If you take a look at this matchup in particular, this is crazy. Since the 2018-2019 season, their matchups have gone 17-4-1 to the under. Just
What? Since what
between these
season?
two teams. Yeah, since 2018. So put season greater than 2018. Yeah, and look at their matchups. 17-4-1 to the
Dude, that's
under.
crazy.
And like I said, the one that went over just a couple games ago was because of overtime. And
OT, yeah. Mhm.
and bringing the
I
fact
mean, if
that
you look at that, you look at this cluster here too. The team total under that could have been 4 straight team total unders. Oh, that's the Grizzlies. Sorry, this one, yeah, this one could have been at least this one here. There's a whole bunch of clusters of team total unders on the Grizzlies side. Then they went over here because of OT, and then also this one just barely by 2.5 points. So that, I mean, just looking at that too, kind of just says that should be the area that we look at, right? The team total under.
Right. Yeah. And
Um,
just like I mentioned earlier with the whole game 6 and unders being more prevalent later on in the series. Yeah,
yeah.
certainly is the case here. I know the Lakers have said they want to play their big guys as many minutes as possible to to close it out. And if they're going to
Yeah.
play Anthony Davis and LeBron James 40 plus minutes, I think they're going to try to, keep the pace slow and just not trying to wear them out, and so they can keep them as fresh as possible for as many minutes as
Do you have
possible. So
do you have a look on the Lakers side? Because I want to take the Lakers as well. If we look at just I think everybody knows this trend by now, but the Grizzlies
yeah,
as road dogs this season, they haven't won a single game, right? Grizzlies 0-17,
crazy.
2-15
It's
against the
still
spread. If you look at if you just order this by the sum, right?
mhm.
They've only had one game where they lost less than 5 points. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah,
seems like when they lose in this situation, they get smacked up. So it seems like the Lakers. I feel like the Lakers get this one and cover the small spread along with that team total under as well. Those are, I mean, that would be the way that I look, right?
yeah. I
What are your thoughts
currently
on this
that
one?
was the angle I took in what was it game? Was it game 3 where Lakers came out and just smacked them up?
Yeah,
And yeah, same angle there. Back fading the Grizzlies as a road underdog. It was a classic zigzag theory spot for the Lakers. So I was definitely all in on the Lakers for that game. But I don't know. I feel like this game. I still think with a few games because Ja had just came back that last game, so I was kind of wary about having them integrate him back into the lineup. But I think
yeah,
now I think it's a toss up. I can certainly see the Grizzlies covering that 4.5. But obviously the trend stayed otherwise. I think I'm going to stay away from the full game spread. I like the full game under. I like your look on the team total under for the Grizzlies.
yeah.
Um,
Here's
so I
another
think
one that
that's
supports that supports the team total under as well for the Grizzlies. We talked about the Lakers after the All-Star break and all the adjustments that they made, or from the trade deadline, and how
Mhm.
they're a much better defensive team, right? So if we look at, especially at home, so if we look at the Lakers after the All-Star break at home when their opponent is rested, 8-3 straight up, 7-4 against the spread, 7-4 to the under as well. But the part that I was looking at specifically was that team total under again. They only allowed their opponent to go over their team total twice during that span, and that one was the OT game that just happened recently. So it would be only this one game specifically against the Bulls where they allowed over the team total in regulation. So I feel like a lot of like I said, I already took the Grizzlies team total under, but those were kind of the angles that kind of pushed me towards that direction. I still feel like the Lakers are the right side to cover the game as well. They don't want to go back to Memphis for Game 7. I
Yeah.
just don't. I truly don't believe that. But even though even if they do, so say there's a situation where the Grizzlies end up winning or covering, I feel like where the game was gonna go under anyways. So it's
Mhm.
possible that even if they do win, that they still stay under their team total.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ride with you with the team total under of the Grizzlies. I like the under already. I think you've made a very compelling case for the Grizzlies, and you're right. I think no matter what happens in the game, I think the Grizzlies will
Yeah,
certainly still be able to go under their team total. So I'm going to rock with
love
you
it.
there.
Anything from a prop perspective in this game? I know we talked to Munaf earlier in the chat. He was on the blocks and steals over 5.5. For AD, I kind of like that look there. Let's just look at it real quick. Anthony. I think in this series he's hit that at every single game.
Nice.
Oh no, that was this one here. 4-2. So 4-2, 3-2, 5-7. So he didn't hit it in the last game. But I think maybe he gets back on track, right? 4.5 rebounds. Sorry, 4.5 blocks and steals. I feel like he should get back on track. That would be the way that I go if I was to take a prop in this one.
Oh, he had 7 blocks.
My
He had 7 blocks.
it's crazy, right? He can get over 4.5 blocks alone. I mean, because the Grizzlies they attack the paint. That's where they
Uh-huh.
do most of the damage, especially
Right.
if Bane and is not making his threes, and if Kennard isn't playing either. So they're gonna have to attack the paint there. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna take it yet, but that would probably be one of my stronger looks. I know my co-host on Triple Double, Matt, he took the LeBron over points, so that would be another one to look at too, kind of a bounce back spot from a points perspective.
What's the line there?
He said 26 and a half.
6.5.
I think what he was thinking is in this situation here, right? They don't want to go back to Memphis, coming off of a bad game, 15 points here. He thinks he's gonna play heavy minutes and get a lot of usage. So that's the way that he was kind of thinking of it. Makes sense to me, but
The narrative makes sense, yeah, for sure.
yeah, the narrative makes sense, but it just seems like that. I was thinking, after the show we were talking about it, like 24 and a half would have been really good. 26 and a half is kind of like tight, you know what I mean? So
I see a 25 and a half. So I see a 25 and a half minus 110. So
gotcha. So it's close. It's around there. But I do like that AD look a little bit more, that blocks and steals. So from a prop perspective, that would be the way that I go.
Yeah, that is interesting.
All right, let's go on to baseball. I know we got one game that we were aligned on here, the Orioles and the Tigers. Talk about what got you on the Orioles. I think we're both aligned here on the Orioles.
So yeah, earlier in the show I mentioned I'm taking a very simplified approach with betting baseball, and I've got about 10 to 15 systems that I've been backing, and there's a couple that were active on the Orioles. So one is based around a team that is trailing at the end of 5 innings, and they come back to win. So obviously, it's active on the Orioles, who had that comeback win. I think it was like 5 runs in the 7th or 8th inning to come back and beat the Tigers yesterday. And then the second one is a game off play on a team off a win where they had really good bullpen utilization and good bullpen performance. So they had 6 pitchers go yesterday. I just think that contributes to like a good, baseball namely is a individual sport with individual performances. But, I think a good team win with lots of bullpen utilization kind of gives them a good some motivation and some confidence going forward. And then the last one is early season fade of underdogs with the starting pitcher with a strong ERA. So that's the Tigers with Rodriguez there. He's starting off the season strong, but fading those dogs with a strong ERA early on in the season has proved to be really profitable over the years. And then I think if you just look at Orioles, a team specific trend, they're 8-3 against left-handed starters this season. So all that comes together really well for me to back the Orioles here.
Yeah, we so I'm aligned with I saw that trend as well, the 8-3 straight up and the run line versus left-handed pitchers for the Orioles. The other one that I looked at here, and I shared this with our group chat too, was since 2020 when a starter is coming off of a win and they're facing the same starter, their opponent, the opposing starter is the same one as their previous matchup, and then they're the road favorite. So basically seeing the same team twice, seeing the same pitchers twice, and then they're the road favorite. The situation here is 35-12 straight up, 29-18 on the run line, also to the over. So basically, seeing that same starter, they put up more points, more runs in the next one, right? So with that said, everything really points towards the road favorite in this situation. You can see that ROI there. Since there, you can see the plus money. You can see the ROI all above 20%. And that backs 2 teams today, the Orioles and the Rays. Those would be the ways that I go in the MLB. So that backs your Orioles play there. And other things as well. There's if you just look at Eduardo Rodriguez with the Tigers. So you mentioned what was it, 8-3 against the left-handed pitchers for the Orioles. So on the Tiger side, because when I have like systems like that or trends like that, I always want to look at it from a team perspective as well to back it, right? So if we go to 2022, we go to Eduardo Rodriguez, 7-15 straight up, 14-8 on the run line, 11-2 to the over. But if you go non-divisional opponent, 3-13 straight up. So he's definitely a fade spot there. Obviously, it's not complete as far as like the run line and the total. um, from that aspect, but it definitely says, look towards the Orioles in that sense, in that angle. If we go specifically this season, 0-4, it does look towards the under. But my main look really is the side there. The Orioles should be the side to play in that game.
I agree.
Um, I like it. I like how we align there. All right, let's
Mhm.
go. I think that's it. I think so. We went through 3 games. Moving forward, I only want to focus in on 3 games a day. So that's the 3 games here. We got 2 in the NBA and then 1 here in the MLB. With that said, Austin, let's get to the best bet section or our top looks. Let the people know what you're on or any leans you want to drop to the people.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with for the Lakers and Grizzlies game, the full game under. Got it at 220. I'm going to rock with you on that Grizzlies team total under as well. I'm going to go with the Orioles money line at minus 125. And yeah, those are my best bets. I for the Grizzlies, for the Warriors and Kings, I think I'm going to go with that prop bet, the Looney over points and Looney over rebounds and assists at 18.5.
I like it.
And that
So
should
pretty
wrap
much
it.
aligned there. Pretty much aligned there in everything. So Orioles money line in the MLB. We got Grizzlies team total under 107.5, and then the Looney 18.5 rebounds plus assists. Um, Leans. Where were my leans again? The leans were the Warriors and the under. Warriors in the under or even the Kings team total under. And then on the other game that I didn't take, the full, I'll probably just get with you on that full game under. To be honest, that Grizzlies Lakers, I'll probably ride with you on that one. And then I think the Lakers get it done tonight as well. So those are the leans. Also, that trend that I gave out, that system that I gave out for the Orioles, also backed the Rays tonight as well. I like that game. I like the Rays to get the win there as well. All right, so
Oh, actually,
that's it, guys.
while we're
Yeah,
at it, that
yeah.
contrarian over system that I mentioned earlier in the show is active on the Dodgers and the Cardinals at 8.5, over 8.5. Just wanted to share that since I talked about it
I
earlier.
like it.
All right.
I like it. Cool. All right. Appreciate you, Austin. Everyone that's watching today, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you like what you're seeing. We like to showcase our the data where we pull the resources from. Just to show other people can do this too, not just us. You know what I mean? Like we're not sharing, keeping any secrets or anything like that. Like so, when we do our breakdowns, you guys can see where it comes from, not really kind of talking out our ass or whatever it might be. But with that said, Austin, I know you've been doing a lot of work outside of Action Network too now. So if you want to promote anything, you got the floor, dude.
Sure. Yep. So I'll be writing the game preview for Action Network this weekend for the Nuggets and Suns game 1. So I'm looking forward to breaking that down tonight. So that'll be published late tonight or early tomorrow. And I've also partnered up with a friend of mine, Sports Dogma, with a couple of other sharp dudes as well. We are releasing a newsletter, weekly newsletter, and I've been contributing to that as well. So check that out. I think our baseball guy, C2, 40-year-old vision, he's been crushing it the last couple of days. I think he won 10-1 one day. Just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, check us out.
Awesome. Yeah. If you guys just follow him, awang_HTX on Twitter, you should be able to find that information on how to get connected to that newsletter. All right. So that's the end of the show, guys. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Once again, if you like what you're seeing, make sure you check out the links in the descriptions as well. And as always, I have to end like this. Whether you fade us or follow us, it's on you guys to make that call. Good luck with our reaction. Till next time, here's YBB. Oh, no, he left. Here you go. Till next time, peace.
Peace.